I'm melting! I'm melting! And hi everyone, my name is Stormi the Folf, and today I want to go over some questions that I get asked like every day, sometimes twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day or more. I've done videos on Q&As in the past, so I figure, you know what? Why don't I make a video about the questions I get the most? Frequently asked questions. I kind of wanted to break on working on advice content this week. Plus, I am working on 2 collabs on top of everything else going on, so hopefully this little video makes up for it. So without further ado, let's do some answering. Who made your fursuit? Okay, I get this one a lot. My fursuit was actually made by Splinter Fox Productions. This Kigu was made by Windy Suits, but my fursuit was made by Splinter Fox Productions. My bodysuit was made by Treble. At the time, I was considering various makers like More for Less, Made for You, Phoenix Next, Phoenix Next, Phoenix Next, Phoenix Nest! I chose Splinter Fox because they were open for commissions, they could finish the suit in less than a year, and they're really, really distinct style. Just look at those eyes. Wait, those are my eyes. Okay. Well, look at these eyes. Maybe someday I'll do a video on some of my favorite fursuit makers. What's a Folf? A Folf is a fox-wolf hybrid. Basically, a fox and a wolf put together, which is considered genetically impossible in the real world, but screw that. This is the furry sphere. We don't need no stinking rules, except we kinda do. But that's another story for another day. Where are you from? Not gonna say exactly, but South Mississippi in the United States of America. The state that no one can spell, no one knows where it's at, and constantly gets mistaken for Missouri for some reason. We have a very, very small furry community here, even though it's too hot like 9 months out of the year to go fursuiting. I'm melting! I'm melting! I also don't particularly like living here, but I don't want to move I also don't particularly like living here, but I don't want to move too far away from family. I might move to Florida someday though, or Minnesota, or Pennsylvania, or Canada. Where should I move? When are you gonna do a face reveal? I kinda already did that. But if you mean like talking on camera, as soon as all of my teeth are fixed, because I'm extremely self-conscious and I don't want to make your eyes bleed because that would be bad. How did you come up with Stormi? Good question. I really love how sneaky foxes are. I really like tails, and I love how majestic yet intimidating wolves are, so I figured, why not take the best of both worlds and put them together? So I made a Folf. I chose blue because blue is one of my favorite colors, and I really love anything having to do with Sonic. But where do those swirls come from? Again, going back to Sonic. They're midnight blue and they're swirly because the Dreamcast is one of my favorite consoles. And my left eye is brown because that's what my human eyes are. I wish they were blue sometimes, but yeah. Okay, what's with the floppy ears? The floppy ears were actually a completely unexpected surprise when I received my fursuit back in 2017. So shout out to Splinter Fox Productions for the floppy ears, cause whenever Stormi gets remade, he's getting floppy listeners again. I'm only gonna have Stormi remade by somebody who can do the wiggle ears, the floppy ears. They're like really important to me and they've grown on me and I love them to death. What's your P.O. box? Okay, I put this at the very end of my mail videos, but I keep getting asked this all the time, so I threw this question in here too. My P.O. box is Stormi Folf, P.O. Box 998, Goche, Mississippi 39553. And yes, that is how you pronounce Goche. It is not Gautier, it is not Gautier. It is Goche or Goche. If you really want to be technically correct, it's Goche, but the locals always pronounce it Goche. Why do you burp so much? I honestly don't know. I always burp a lot when I start to talk a lot and when I'm filled with caffeine, regardless of if I had soda or water. Although soda tends to amplify things a bit. It all started with my video on going to my first furry convention, FWA 2017. People liked it and I just sort of stuck with it from there. It just sort of like became a running gag. What's with you and potatoes? Okay, this started a long time ago. Back in the land of dinosaurs. Way before Stormi was conceived. I don't know where I got it from or why I started doing it, but anytime I did something dumb or weird, I'd call myself a potato. Or if I didn't know how to feel about something, I'd say something like, potato. It's like my way of saying, this is awkward, potato. Or, I don't know, I potatoed so everything is ruined and we gotta start all over from the beginning. Like when I'm working on a big project, like potatoed is another way to say I goofed up. Why do you insist that snow is a myth? Snow is very much real. We had a massive blizzard not too long ago. It was terrible. Okay, this is sort of an inside joke, and by that I mean I'm the only person that gets it. It's my own little personal inside joke. And now I have a question for you. Does it snow where you live? If you answered yes, then let me ask you this. Do you think it snows everywhere in the United States? Like Florida? If you said yes, you are so very wrong, my friendo. Weather in Mississippi is very similar to what's in Florida, especially where I'm at. So if it's hot in Florida, it's gonna be hot here. When I was a kid, say like 6 years old, I used to think it only ever snowed on TV because that's the only place I ever saw snow, or the fake snow you'd see around Santa at the mall. I was always so perplexed why we had Christmas trees and all the decorations and all the little fake snow, but Mother Nature said we couldn't have real snow. But lo and behold, one December, just before I turned 7, we got snow! That was my very first snowfall experience. Too bad the snow melted only a few hours later, but I remember we got a ton of pictures. Once I learned about how it almost never got cold enough to support actual snowfall where I live, I finally understood why we never got snow, because it's never ever cold enough, and I'm repeating myself. But other places like Chicago, it snows like every year. But down here, never snows. Maybe once every 10 years if we're lucky. But playing in the snow is so much fun! Until you have to shovel it, or drive in it, or get stuck in it. When I went to MFF last year, it was like an extra bonus to see real snowfall in person. Something I've seen maybe a grand total of 10 times in my entire life. And I have never seen that much snow before in person. It was like being in a movie. It was so pretty, and it even sounds different than rainfall. It sounds kind of like a faint static noise, if that makes sense, like shh. What are some good fursuit makers? How can I avoid scam artists in the fandom? That's 2 questions. 3 suit makers I can recommend right away are Splinter Fox Productions, Demi Wolf Designs, and More for Less. But if they're closed for commissions, you really have to do your own research here. You can either wait until they open for quotes, or you can ask around for recommendations. If you're dead set on getting a well-made, flawless fursuit no matter what, you'll probably want to seek out someone with a little experience, or someone you just really trust with making your being into a fluffy reality. Ask around. As for avoiding scams, I made a whole video on that subject, which you can click up above. How did you get into the furry fandom? Oof, even I don't know the answer, but I'm gonna try to answer it anyway. I've known about the furry fandom since like 2005 or so, but I never really got active and involved until about 2012 or 2013. The art is what really sucked me in. Some of the insanely adorable stuff y'all come up with is so addictive to look at, and I swear some of you had to have been former Disney artists. That's something our community is really good at. We are super duper art driven. We have no shortage of amazing artists. Also, watching YouTubers like Barton Fox and Prakairu really motivated me to get more active with the community. I drew up a few Fursona prototypes and eventually settled on who I have today, which is this confused Folf. There's a lot more to this story, but it would really be dedicated to a video of its own that I will eventually do. Why haven't you responded to my messages? I messaged you like 4 months ago, and again like 2 weeks ago, and 5 minutes ago. Okay, I am one person, one Folf. I have 2 paws. I can type around 135 words per minute on a good day with some coffee. I sleep 7 to 8 hours a night if I'm lucky. Usually it's like 5 or 6. Our fandom is on a global scale. We live in different time zones, and as my channel has grown, so has my inbox. On average, I receive anywhere from 50 to 100 plus messages per day, and this is through multiple social media outlets. It's literally impossible for me to dedicate that much time responding to over 100 people all day long while coordinating with my own supporters, my patrons, creating content, taking care of myself, and just taking breaks from social media. If I could respond to every single person, I really would. In some ways, it kind of hurts me that I can't make everyone happy, because whenever I'll go through my messages sometimes for 2 or 3 months ago, and then they'll respond with ... like they just gave up or they got impatient with me. And I'm like, what do you want me to do? I don't purposely ignore people unless I feel like they're a threat or they're harassing me, which I feel like are valid excuses. If I could do more, I would, but physics say I can't do that. I can't reply to every single message, even though I really wish I could. I feel like as humans, we are really limited in what we can do. Our minds are extremely powerful, but we only have two hands to work with. At least until I can stop time. If I can learn how to stop time, I can eventually catch up with all those messages. But until then, I gotta do what I can do. When are you gonna collab with Majira or Frankie? Soon, I hope. I already collabed with Majira in the past, but collabing with Frankie, short of us doing everything online, might be kind of a challenge since we live over 1,000 miles away from each other. Then again, I'm collaborating with someone who lives on another continent currently, so maybe we could still come up with something. How often do you post videos? When are you doing another live stream? I try to post one video every week, usually Friday through Sunday, but this can vary. As for live streams, those are done on a bi-monthly basis, usually Wednesdays, sometimes Thursdays, sometimes Fridays, sometimes Saturdays. I usually notify everyone a week in advance before I do so. But for the most part, I would say lately, my live streams are on Wednesdays, but that might change. And here's a question for you. Should I go back to doing Q&A videos like I used to a long time ago? If you think I should, let me know in the comments, or maybe even leave a question. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe, ring the bell, and share it with the other furry friends. Anyway, I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye!